Hi and welcome to another session. Today, something completely different. Today I would like to talk to you about a really modern framework which supports multi-windows, like you just have the application running once, but in different windows you do stuff and you communicate between these things, all this crazy stuff. So it's really modern. And the last time ExtJS was really updated in the core is about a long time ago. So that's why I was looking a long time for something that might fit into my ExtJS series. And I will explain to you why this fits with ExtJS and why it's so easy to switch from ExtJS to Neo and stuff like that. It's a really fun session and I hope you enjoy it. So let's go. So what did I prepare for you today? So let me start with these windows here. I prepared, what means prepared? I just created frameworks for you or workspaces for you, and this is what you get out of the box if you create these apps. On the right side in here, you can see what you get out of the box if you create an ExtJS version. And on the left side, we have Neo.MJS. So basically both look some kind of the same. You can see out of the box that there's something with a local host. So we'll go into that and let's just see how this works and why I'm comparing these with each other. So let me just go in here. On the right side, again, is our ExtJS. On the left side is our Neo application. And if you are used to X-define something, you can see in here we get the same, just adding a class name. And what do we extend? So that's the viewport. And what is the X type? Well, it's in here the N type. It's Neo.MJS, so it makes sense to call it N type. Then we do have requires. So the requires go up top in here just to import them. The difference is that with ExtJS, you add all these things. They have to be somehow compiled. That's why it's X-define. They will do something with it and solve the requirements. But in Neo, everything is live. It's not being compiled or something like that. It's what you type is what you get at the end. And then we have a controller and a view model. Same over here. Then we have some kind of layout. Not sure. Yeah, here we do have layout. Then we have items. Same as in here. Then what do we have? We have a title bar position. So everything will be found on both sides. And one of the differences is that in here you can type N type or call the module. So if I say module panel, I have to require it up here. If I say N type tab container, again, I have to import it. So that's basically the difference, is it? So in both cases, we get somehow the same results, and it looks very familiar to me. I'm used to program in ExtJS for so long, and that's why I'm so happy to see that this descriptive coding is the same in Neo.MJS, and but in here again, everything is kind of what the browser understands right away, while in here you write things that are defined by ExtJS. And so this class system, the static stuff, everything like that. And down here to apply this to the class names so that other classes know right away what you're talking about. all this is so natural for the browsers that you do not have to compile anything afterwards. And I did some writings about how to get there, just to have a comparison. And first of all, I wanted to start but Torsten, how do I get this? How do I get this wonderful Neo.MJS and ExtJS workspace created? And yeah, that's where this comes into play. So create a workspace in Neo.MJS. You start with both are generated in your console. And for ExtJS, I've chosen the Sencha command way. If you're interested into the Sencha npm way, Torsten Dinkheller did a video this morning about how to do that. I will link it in the description. And let's just go into it. So the command is npx new app. It takes about 230 to get, to get that, this one. And what it does is it will start for you the server start out of the box, so that you do not have to type anything else before you see your result the first time. It just runs and gets all the npm dependencies and stuff like that and creates the workspace, and at the end you see right away what you did. If you are used to Sencha and you work a lot with Sencha App Watch, then you might want to run this, because this ensures that any changes in your SCSS will be compiled right away, so that you see the result in your browser right away. So, but what does it cost, Torsten? It costs nothing. It's open source, but you're welcome to help others once you dive into it. So that's pretty cool, I think. So the main support is there's a Slack channel which you can use, and there are currently running open trainings which you can access. And yeah, this is pretty cool. On the other hand, ExtJS, how do we get to this one? So what do? We say Sencha generate workspace, and then we just say wherever we started, you have to start inside the sources which you downloaded, and inside that one you just say Sencha generate workspace, and I just created a test workspace. Then you say Sencha generate, you have to switch into the workspace, and then you say Sencha generate app --x demo, whatever you would like to do. I typically do just a single framework. I'm not doing these hybrid things. That means more stress than solves anything. So either go with modern or classic and you're fine. Then you have to run Sencha App Watch. I timed this, and although you have to type more, it's a bit faster. And that's probably due to my internet connection. I have no idea. It's at the end, I will compare that what you get after this. So upfront, you have to pay per dev about 1,900. And then you have to download Sencha command, you have to download ExtJS, the main version, but you only have to do these things once. So that's why I didn't actually put them in the time in here. I just timed these 3 commands. The main support switched from their own forum to Stack Overflow, and that's the base comparison. Then next we do have documentation. Let me just switch back to our thing is in here so that you can see the documentation. This is the ExtJS documentation. This is the Neo documentation. Up here you can filter, for example, form, and you get all the results for forms. And yeah, so this would be the main form. And if you're looking for a form container, that would be the one. The same over here. If I press form, oh, sorry for that, typing form. Then you take form panel and you get the same result over here. Then you have filter from members is valid, typically is pretty important. The same over here is valid. Oops. So if you're used to ExtJS, valid. Yeah. So if you're used to either or, you pretty much know your way of what these things are doing in here. Then in here you can say, okay, I don't want to have the private, the protected or static ones if they have any due to the filtering. Okay, now we could filter this and say, okay, I don't want they have the protected. That leaves me with these. And then you can sort by configs, methods, events. Same over here. You can, let me just clear this. Filter by configs, methods, and events if there would be any in here. So this is pretty much the same from the documentation. Then more tools. Yeah, I wanted to go over that one. In here, NPM, you have a couple of more tools which you get out of the box without remembering them or anything. You just press watch themes. That's what I mentioned up here, watch themes. You just double click it and it runs, which is running right now in here. So from the tooling, I'd say Neo is upfront. From everything else, it definitely is upfront. So if I would start today a new project, I most likely would go with Neo. Even though if I had a lot of programmers which are used to program ExtJS, I think it's not much of a difference. So let's take a look at the structure. So in here we do have our workspace, then we have apps, then we have the build folder, which is called dist in here, distribution, and then we have the ext folder in here, which would be pretty much the source folder in here. And I typically have bookmarks for that so that I have the sources available right away, because I'm looking a lot into the sources which are delivered, and that's why I'm taking a look. Let's say in here container panel, and I just open that and I look into the sources. And again, if you're used to ExtJS, this is pretty much exactly what you're used to. Layout, I'm sure you know what layout is in ExtJS. It's pretty much the same. So, and what else did I want to talk about? Yeah, apps. So apps, we have the demo app. Let me just close this. Apps, say in here, apps. This is my app, this is demo. During the build process from Neo.MJS, you're asked what would be, from the workspace, you're asked what would be the name of your first app. And I just typed my app in here, and for this one I added demo. Then you have in here view right away, and this comes one down in ExtJS, and then again test the same structure. I have in here main controller, main model, and for Neo I have main container, main controller, main model. Exactly the same. Now comes a difference. In here you can add the SCSS file into the folder like that. In Neo you go to resources, SCSS, source, apps, my app, and you head that way to add SCSS files which are automatically compiled and which are automatically generated in your distribution if it is development or production. So I guess that's a rough overview of what you get from ExtJS and what you get from Neo. And again, let me just go back here and in here. And you can see it's pretty much, if I go over here, you can see it's exactly the same. There's a bit lorem ipsum in here. Here's just, I hope you're having fun creating it. And currently there's one job opening for a Neo, which is with Sencha in Kaiserslautern. Oh, sorry for that. Let's just open this one. Don't want to spoil too much. So yeah, this is the one. So if you're interested, you have to be able, you have to communicate in German language to be available for the job. But again, there are jobs coming with Neo, so I think it's a good timing to start programming with that. And I heard that I'm from Germany, so I know a bit about the German programmers. And more and more programmers are switching over. So if you think this is interesting, I definitely do believe it's interesting. And for ExtJS, let's just go for LinkedIn to have the same, just live. LinkedIn and go for jobs. Up here it should be jobs. And let's go for ExtJS. And typically there are just some, in here. Means this is paid banner, and most of them. Here is the same company as in here, and but again, this is just a banner, and there is typically nothing coming up for ExtJS currently. Angular, So I guess to be future-proof, it's a good idea to take a look at different platforms. But this one is the latest, and it supports things that were up to now experimental for Chrome, for example. And some things are already in Neo that happen to be in experimental for Chrome, and still Firefox hasn't solved it. And but most of the stuff is currently available for all browsers, and this is definitely a lot of fun. And one more thing I would like to, I know that there is someone out there who wants to see this. That's why I'm talking about it. If you take a look in here, you can see the Neo.MJS VDOM worker, the app worker, and the data worker. That is probably the biggest pro about the framework. It supports multi-threads. So if you have multi-cores, if you happen to have a device with multiple cores, which I know everyone has nowadays, even mobile phones do, then Neo supports the usage of multiple cores, so that the DOM rendering is done in one core. CSS stuff, how to build everything is done in a completely different one. And if you work with different windows, you get even web workers and all that stuff. So yeah, if you're interested in more details about this, then I could show you some of my projects I started with Neo, and we could talk a bit more in depth about Neo. Just leave me some comments down there. And if you like this and you would like to see more about Neo or have any questions about ExtJS, just leave me a comment and subscribe me. Okay, so I guess see you later. And I have to find the next